Chamberboost is a strat that saves about 4 seconds to pubs drop. Before learning, you should be comfortable with pause buffering, input dense buffers, and troubleshooting mistakes. Let's start with an overview. The strat is normalize subpixels, climb to the top, pause to this frame, then pause buffer a grab release, 2 neutral climb jumps, then unpause into buffering an upright demo, RCB, upright dash, max height climb jump, then medium height climb jump. Now let's get into the details. We start by normalizing subpixels by holding left into the swap block and grab only after colliding. As you slide, your subpixel will alternate between these two possible values, and it locks in once you grab. You did this step correctly if you see one of these two values after grabbing. Now just hold up to climb while you time your pause, then frame advance to this frame. Yippee! The position setup's done, and now it's pause buffering time. Pause buffer a grab release with no directions held. Releasing grab applies lift boost, putting you at 129.6 speed. Then pause buffer a neutral climb jump. That's jump with grab held and no horizontal directions. This also applies lift boost, and you have 248 speed. At this point, you should check that you have wall L in the info HUD, or check that you're 2 pixels away from the swap block. But if you're 3 pixels away and don't see wall L, you're not in range to jump, and that probably means you messed up the normalization at step 1, and you should start again. Otherwise, you can move on to pause buffering a second neutral climb jump, which puts you at 367 speed. Alright, that's it for pausing, and this is a good spot to save state before we move on to the second half. This next part has some awkward direction changes that can be simplified with the movement left RCB bind. That's grab, jump, and movement only left. So after the second neutral climb jump, you can start holding upright and keep it held the whole time. From here, you can unpause, then buffer upright demo. Now you can buffer movement left RCB and make sure to keep it held until the crystal. With all of this still held, you can buffer an upright dash out of crystal freeze frames. The next part is buffering a max height climb jump, but you have to release the RCB before this point. So the full window to release RCB is after hitting the crystal and before this climb jump. Then the last part is this medium height climb jump to the end. It'll probably take some time to get this muscle memory, so expect to learn it incrementally and practice across multiple days. Once you reach the point where you're practicing the whole second half, you'll need to know how to recognize specific mistakes so you know what to correct. Here's a quick reference to figure out which input you messed up based on where you died. These show the common mistakes of releasing RCB before the crystal or missing the upright dash buffer. But the most accurate way to troubleshoot mistakes here is to just watch back a recording with input display. Another thing that can help is the buffer visualizer mod. For successful buffers, it can show you which frame you hit in the window, and it flashes if you were too early or too late. And here it is one more time. Okay, bye.